हाँ भाई, इतना बड़ा मुश्किल है, भागा इतना भागा दौड़ी है ना।
पता दूरी माने सुबह क्लास लेते उसके बाद आपको
यहाँ तो क्लास
Yes, sir.
कराना ही सोचते हैं।
We are live, sir. Good morning, participants. Welcome to the live session of the course Sustainable Solid Waste Management Challenges, Opportunities, and Threats. Our instructors, Dr. Rajeev, Pratap Singh, sir, and Professor Amitava, Rakshit, sir, are here with us. Kindly feel free to join in and clear all your doubts. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Yes, welcome students. We are here. We are here to directly take up your query. So you are requested to give your queries one by one.
Sir, as of now, nobody has joined the session,
Okay.
but a few queries are posted via Google form.
So
Maybe we can start with those questions, sir.
what do you want? You want me to in a write up or
Not write up, sir. Orally, you can talk about those
okay,
questions,
okay,
sir.
okay.
Yes. I think that will be good. That whatever the question being posed already, so
Right,
that
sir.
if we can, answer some of them, you can, put them in live and they can see that what was the question. So one question I can see that what are the long-term environmental threats if solid waste challenges are not addressed with urgency?
Yes.
So this is a very relevant thing that, and we need to address this particular issue of this particular solid waste in a sense that if we are not addressing it right now, then definitely, there are multiple challenges related to the resource availability, related to the bioresource, the biodiversity related issues, the issues related to energy, the issues related to environment. So multiple things are going to come, and if we address them rationally, and if we take them one by one, and particularly to a particular problem which is being which we wanted to resolve, definitely at the end of the day, definitely we will be able to address those issues more convincingly, because these are issues which are related to sustainability. These are issues which directly or indirectly related to our sustainable development goal, and in there they will be becoming our bottleneck once we try to address those goals. So and as I said, the threats are very pertinent, and these threats are related to multiple things related to, as I said, once again, I am just repeating that related to the resources. The related to resources means natural resources. There will be impairment of natural resources, and which is going to make deterioration of the already existing resources which we actually received from our grandfather or late grandfather. So we wanted to pass on to the next generation in the right format whatever we received it. So this is going to be related to that resources. The next issue is going to be definitely with pertaining to your environment point of view, because there are several environmental issues are being already been threatened, particularly whether you look at regionally, whether you look at locally, or your nationally, or if you look at internationally as well. There are multiple issues which which already threaten us with this particular context. So if we wanted to put that particular context in the present perspective, definitely it is it's these and to get rid of all those long term issues, definitely these are our some of those strategies which we discussed during our classes, so that will make them more comprehensive in addressing that. Otherwise, will be issues related to resources, will be issues related to environment, will be issues related to, as well as particularly the energy crisis. And I think Dr. Singh will add some more points.
As it has been asked about the long-term environmental threat, we know that from the waste management, if it is not managed judiciously, water pollution can happen, soil health can be happen, health issues can be happen, so air pollution can be happen. So each and every corner of the environment can be affected from not managing the waste properly. So the management of solid waste and the problem related to solid waste management should be addressed properly. And the most problematic thing that will happen that the waste has several things like heavy metals, microbial population that may lead to the food chain contamination. So the management of solid waste is the urgent need to tackle these and avoid this problem. Thank you. The next question is that discuss the following question. First is between landfill, incineration, and open burning, which method poses the greatest health risk? The main thing, if you compare the three technologies, each and every technologies has its pros and cons. If you talk about landfilling, it occupies large area of land. The leachate has its own problem. Landfill gas has the methane and CO2. It has, if not managed properly, it may cause the global warming because both are greenhouse gases. Incineration, if not managed, it involves a lot of energy. The ash coming out of the incineration is maybe also problematic because it has toxic metals. The gas released from the incineration unit should be cleaned, so there should be a bag filter or different filter should be involved, and gas should be passed through that so that the population nearby should not be affected. And as far as the open burning is concerned, it is not a technical, it is just burning of the waste. So definitely it harms the environment by the fumes, by the polluting the nearby area, etc. So in my view, if you talk about which one is posing the greatest health risk, definitely open burning must be that. Because if you remember the Parali issue, it is also what open burning of useful biomass. I'm asking to
Yeah. Yes, Dr. Rajeev, you rightly said that, these three are interlinked as well. Means, if you think about landfilling, definitely what Dr. Rajeev has mentioned that you are trying to making some impairment within that particular natural resource base with reference to soil, with reference to water, because ultimately whether it is through percolation, so things are going to enrich your either groundwater, or if it is getting volatilized, definitely it is going to enrich your stratosphere, right? So in a sense, if these are all uncontrolled, if you talk about landfilling and open burning, incineration, where your most of your energy is involved, but energy, these are very energy intensive processes as well. This will always have a extra burden of that particular cost. You need that sort of infrastructure for making those particular things happening properly. You need, as Dr. Rajeev rightly said, that you need different sort of attachment so that whatever gases are being evolved out of that particular system or that particular infrastructure, that has to be also kept inside within those particular structures so that you further doesn't impair your air quality as well. So more or less, as he rightly said, that open burning is the mostly immediate. You are going to be impacted immediately. But in case of landfilling, maybe initially you have some consequences, but in larger context, in times to come, it is going to give more consequences, negative consequences, further consequences. But if it is with reference to immediate health risk, definitely open burning is going to be there, and followed by your open burning, and then you said landfilling, and finally incineration. But in incineration, as he said, that it is always going to have that sort of infrastructure and energy involvement, and cost are always associated. The second question is, why are developed nations shifting away from landfills while developing nations still rely heavily on them? It's not like that, because landfilling, because you need to have a specified area of that particular place, whether it is your municipality, whether it is particular district, you have that sort of, those particularly land should be demarcated. It's not that easy, and it's not that the developed nations are shifting away from landfills. Definitely for the reason that, you have those sort of chances, or those sort of making, deterioration of your soil, water, and air quality in the larger context. So if you wanted to get rid of that, definitely you have to have, other options from, going for landfill, or, making for incineration on that sort of, or maybe, involving those particular waste to some, wealth structure or wealth materials. People are always trying for those greener techniques where you are not making any sort of impairment to your existing ecosystem always. And it is always a priority for developed nations. They always trying out for some, more sophisticated those way out, so that, things can be converted more smartly without making any impact into your ecosystem. But the developing nations, many a time, they don't have any options. They don't have that sort of, exposure to those technologies or availability of infrastructure at the local level. So the only option with them many a time is either you go ahead for landfilling or you go ahead for incineration, because you wanted to reduce the volume, as well as you wanted to, put it some of your, low-lying areas and dump it. And then, finally you wanted to, make a newer ecosystem. Which ultimately is not going to make very positive sort of feedback to your ecosystem as well. So I think Dr. Rajeev, if you can add some more lights on it.
As per my view, the developing nations are not shifting from that. You can say they are using the sanitary landfill. And sanitary landfill or scientific landfill, they are, by this way, they are minimizing the harm to the environment, and also their waste management is like that, whichever the waste is not able to be tackled are going onto the landfill. So the load on the land is minimized. So the life of the landfill is increased. Whereas the developing countries is that because they are technology deficient, uh, that's why they are seeing, and they don't, honestly saying, they don't have the landfill, because landfill is a scientific term and open dumping is a crude term.
Right.
So they are only relying on the open dumping, not the landfill.
Right.
The next question is, could you please explain how the construction and demolition waste management rules are enforced in practice, and what gaps still remain? As far as the construction or demolition waste management rules are, that it is the authorities who has to enforce that. And as far as the waste is concerned, they are staggered, because somewhere the quantity is very less, and in the government sector the volume is very much. So it is very hard to define that which is construction demolition waste, because generally the poor people or needy people, they generally use that waste in some other part, either the filling of the roads, for filling of the low-lying areas. And as such, you can find this type of waste very less, because generally they are taken from one place by the land, purchased by the landowner, and they are used in dumping the low-lying areas.
So I think here this is a very pertinent part of just obeying or going through the existing rule and an existing protocol which is being fixed by the local governance, whether it is at panchayat level, whether it is at district level, maybe your municipalities, or whether it at the state level or at the national level. So there are different agencies are involved. So what is needed? The only thing which is very important, that you need a vibrancy. You need a vibrancy. You need that system should vibrantly make a vigilance over what's happening. If you can able to track it properly, that once you are taking that particular waste, and how you are taking that particular waste to a particular location for dumping, or whether what next course of action you are going to take out of it. If you can track that, and if we have that sort of tracking mechanism, definitely we will be able to make a very rational solution out of it. But still, there are few lacunas are there. And people are after it, and they are trying to come up with some sort of apps. There are multiple apps that are also available where, if you are making a complaint and immediately if that particular things have been carried out or resolved, you will have different sorts of color notification things will be there. So these things will take time, but it is under process, and we now understand, and people have been already sensitized about the outcome, the consequences of if you are not properly maintaining it. And there are many, municipalities and development authorities, they actually impose fine over there, particularly in some of the very important metropolitan cities like, Pune, like Hyderabad. So, there are already instances that even in Bangalore also, there are instances that people, those agencies, those development authorities, they are imposing, some legal actions as well. So once we are able to, keep these things in line, and if we are able to do it very rationally and religiously, and it is not somebody's work, it is even if it is being entrusted to some government agency, it is our individual responsibility to sensitize within our group or within ourselves also to be aware of all that. And if we can do that, and it starts from us only, it starts from you, it starts from me. So if we can initiate that sort of proactive measures, definitely it will be, that sort of thing is not going to occur.
And also, I want to add one thing, that in the big cities, people are aware about these laws. But in the small cities, people are not even know that what are the options they have.
Right.
They are not aware that there is any law regarding the construction of demolition waste. So just they sell their waste, and the vendor who are purchasing that use that waste in covering the lowland areas.
Right. Right.
Our next question is, could biochemical processes like anaerobic digestion replace traditional composting in the future? I don't think so, that because anaerobic digestion is different thing, composting is different thing, and the advanced version of composting is vermicomposting. It is different thing, because anaerobic digestion has its own limitation. It needs the digester. It needs particular temperature. There is mesophilic bacteria involved, pathogens are involved, special temperatures are involved. So you are not supposed to compare between anaerobic digestion as well as traditional composting.
Yes. You rightly said that, because you need a specific infrastructure as well as a controlled environment to carry out that particular process of biochemical processes, like what you people said, that anaerobic digestion. So you need that sort of infrastructure, you need that sort of consortia. So it's not readily available at many places. You need that sort of temperature setup or regulations as well. So otherwise, that particular initially starting from that thermophilic stage, and then cooling and all, because there are multiple stages in anaerobic digestion processes, and based on those temperature variations, this is going to vary. And at each particular point of time, you have a specific group of microorganisms are going to do that sort of mediation. So you need a special sort of setup, or a special sort of structure to enable it. But if it is the traditional composting, you can always because looking at those infrastructure crises, or looking at those availability of consortia or microbes or inoculants, so so what one can do is, so based on the resources available at their disposal, so they can always try, whether you try a simple composting, whether you try a vermicomposting, or whether you try some sort of mediation which can enhance the outcome. The outcome means you ultimately get a final product is compost. So we wanted to get a compost which is very enriched with reference to nutrient, enriched with reference to some of your microbes. So that always we can try. It's a try. It can be tried at any particular point of place and any particular point of time, without much of any regulations, without much of any restrictions. So in that way, it's just cannot, as Dr. Rajeev rightly said, that it cannot, replace. The things are contrastingly different, and it is adapted under a definitive set of conditions.
And additionally, one thing you can look that composting can be done at micro and macro level also. You can do composting in your kitchen garden also and at a large scale. But anaerobic digestion, it is not possible because you will definitely get the slurry. But at the macro level, what you will do with the gas? Definitely you will have to release that, and it will create the problem of pollution because biogas has CO2 and methane. And the next question is, how effective are current plastic waste management rule in addressing microplastic and long-term pollution? Definitely, it is very effective if managed properly and implemented properly, because there is EPR and pollution responsibility and extended pollution responsibility. That whoever is selling the plastic and who is using the plastic, both are meant responsible for that. And by forcefully and strictly enforcing the plastic waste management rule, definitely the plastic will be minimized, and the plastic with the either thermal shock or acid, they lead to the generation of microplastic. And definitely in the long term, the load of the microplastic will be minimized.
Yes, you rightly said. Whether you talk about macro, micro, and mesoplastic, in most of these categories of plastics is well attempted with or well managed with reference to the presently whatever legislations or acts is being enacted in the country. So we have enough of scopes or opportunities to address all of them. So the only thing is that has to be with reference to our effort and our commitment for implementing those particular because you have a responsibility whether you are at the one part or the other part of the game, whether you are selling or whether you are buying. So you have at the both end we have responsibility, we have a joint responsibility. So we need to, if we are going to take that responsibility jointly, and it's rather, if I use the word share responsibility, so sharing those responsibility will definitely address this problem more convincingly, because it is everything is there within the present context, whatever the rule, the structure, the protocols being mentioned under that particular the present setup. It is all, everything is mentioned. So the only thing is needed, it is our dedicated or concerted effort, which is very much needed, I think.
Thank you all.
And we can, the students are requested if they have further any questions, because our email ID is there with available with everybody. So you can, without any hesitation, you can always pose your, yes, you can contact us and pose your question. We'll be very happy to answer you. And even if you share your mobile number, we can have a chat so that many of your issues can be resolved without any further delay, right? So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for answering all those queries raised by the students in a very detailed manner with a lot of examples. Unfortunately, students did not join on Zoom, and they are not watching the event on YouTube as well. So okay, can we close the sessions now, sir?
Sure.
So you can share with them, and then you can, so that they can see that yes, what are the relevant answers, if it is right.
Yes, sir. It will be shared, sir.
Okay,
so once again, thank you so much, sir, for this live session. It was very informative and helpful, and we hope our learners watch the recorded session and benefit from it. We are closing the session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Yes, sir.